Hello, Kensei. Welcome to the second reading of This Canoe is Heavy. Tea is ready. And I'm ready to read. We left off yesterday that everyone was enjoying the fresh fish. And we were having a cup of tea. A light nap finds me dreaming of den stories with Grandmother Bear. She would make tea and we'd find a shade tree and the tales were told till the tea ran out or till we nodded off to sleep. She would say, I remember when all the young folks did most of the daily chores. The elders would take care of the little ones and play games that taught them of the old ways, about self-control and self-respect. If you live with these two rules, you will be a better person for it. Grandmother Bear would close her eyes and tell long ago stories of her grandmother, Gentle Bear, and the ancient portage trails that she walked as a child. Long canoe trips for seasonal camps and meetings with friends and family at these camps. Seasonal camps to hunt and fish and prepare winter stores. This canoe is heavy was often heard on long portage trails that seemed to go on forever. And along the trails, the women and children would forage for berries and greens, and some young people might get a brush grouse if their arrow was true. You weren't just taking the trail, you were living on the trail. It wasn't about getting somewhere, it was the life along the trail that mattered, and it was a great life. Some portages were so long that we camped a couple times along the trail. Well-used camps. Some had ancient graves, elders usually, that went to sleep along the trail or at the camp and didn't wake up. Grandfather said they went to sleep with a smile because their ancestors were waiting for them on the other side, and their journey was just beginning. And then Grandfather would say, the ancestors watch over us and keep us on the true path. If your heart is true, you will know when they are near. And Grandmother Bear continued, sometimes you'll see them on the edge of the forest, like a mist, like a vision. Sometimes you'll hear them, the drums drumming like a heartbeat, your heartbeat. Other times you'll look away and then look back, but you've missed it. Best not to look for them. They're always there, all around us, but sometimes their memories are so strong that they almost appear, and we almost see them, those loving spirits. Most of these den tales and ancient stories are put in my memory, and I retell them to the children. Some I've heard many times, but love to hear them anyways. Others are told late at night in a hush around the fire when the children are asleep. Some stories that will scare children, and they'll be afraid of the bush. They will either hear these tales when they are older, or they will have a bush encounter and live inside of their own tales and trail stories. They will retell their own bush tales around the fire late at night. The listeners will nod because they know, and the elders will sit quiet and close their eyes and thank the Creator that they lived to tell the tale. It does take a village with all its generations. Oral history is what we have to the end. Those who remember and those who lived it, those who can still recall the ancient tales, and everyone has a way of telling their own old tales. You'll know if they stray too far from the truth. The old women will laugh and say, "Oh, is that how it happened?" We often find drawings on rock walls or overhangs or in caves, and we're told that they were left by our ancestors long ago. Not what much is remembered about them, but we know that they lived, and like we still do, following the trails for hunting, fishing, moving camps seasonally, and raising families along the way. You can hear the villagers calling for everyone. The hunters have returned with 2 moose, and the whole village will eat well tonight and for many nights to come. And of course, some will be smoked and dried for trail food, and in case of lean times, even the village dogs are happy. A few bones might find their way to them. It doesn't take long, and the meat is portioned for each family, and the 2 large hides will be tanned by whichever family needs them. We gather in the village hut where we give thanks. Meat is cooking over the fire at the center of this large space that is now full of family and friends, the village. The hunters are telling tales of their hunt, how far they went, what animals they saw, how they ate grouse over the fire, how the young hunters did what they were told and learned some hunting lessons, lessons passed down over time, like how to read the trail, the tracks, the wind, the weather, and the smell of the air, how patience will win over any aggression, except an angry bear. The stories and laughter went on after dark, and I made my way to my corner in the family hut, and I welcomed a good sleep with a full stomach, a large moose hide to lay on, and a bear fur hide to pull over me, and happy sounds to fall asleep to, and happy dreams. Now I'm supposed to end it there, but I think I'm just going to continue reading because the story's getting so good. The morning came early, as it often does. I lay awake thinking of the night before and the day ahead. The birds are singing their morning songs, and the villagers are waking up too. The usual morning chores and plans for the day. The wind is high and the trees are rocking back and forth, some bumping into each other and some are cracking and creaking as though they could fall at any minute. And just then, a really tall white pine gave a sharp creak and a loud crack and fell beside a small hut near the edge of the forest. Everyone stopped what they were doing and went to look at the downed trees. Branches stabbed into the ground like wooden swords, and we gathered up the branches that broke off for firewood. There's been many people that died from fallen trees during storms. It's just one of those things that happens. Many people gathered together in the center of the village, in the large hut, and we wait out the storm. I enjoy these large gatherings in the big lodge. We can hear the storm outside, but we are safe inside together. Meat on the fire, children's laughter, old women telling stories and stitching hides, old men telling the young men tales of long ago hunts. The harmony of the lodge is like music to my ears, the rhythm of life, my life. our life together. Sleep comes easy when your day is full, and tomorrow is just another sleep away. The storm broke through the night, and we woke to blue skies and dew-kissed grasses and flowers. Just then I hear a whoop from someone, and we all look to see a roaming bear on the edge of the forest, and he's heading to the shore. A big old male black bear. He stops before the water and turns to look at the village. We all look back too, and Grandmother Bear is burning a sage bundle and singing an ancient song. Others join in the singing, and a lone drum keeps beat. Big old roaming bear nods his head as if to show thanks, and turns away and slowly heads up coast and out of sight. Some of the young people go to see his tracks and compare it to their own handprints. That way they'll know how big a bear is by the size of their tracks. And they have big paws. Grandmother Bear says, "That's Roaming Bear. He's an ancestor. He came to see if we made it through the storm and to remind us that they watch over us." A huge black raven that usually hangs around the village is now following the roaming bear up coast. He knows if bear makes a kill, then he will eat too. But Raven will soon be back to the village because he thinks he's the boss. Not sure why, but I'm thinking of that old raven flying off on his own. All the freedom to fly wherever he wants, but yet he still remains at camp. He loves the village life. He likes to watch over us. He makes alarm calls and clicking and clucking and coughing calls, always wanting attention and a few scraps. Entertaining and annoying, but you miss him when he's not around. Someday I'll be like that old raven and go solo for a while. Sometimes you just need to go solo. It's been in the back of my mind for a bit now. I've gone out into the bush alone when I was younger, but I wasn't prepared, and I was too young and too afraid. But now that I'm older and I have bush know-how and I understand how nature needs to be respected, just like when people get old, listen to their knowledge, learn from their lessons and stories, and respect the time together while you can. For one day you will be old too, and they will be gone with all those lessons and stories. Let the elders repeat those stories until they hear them told by others. That's how we remember who we are. Oral history gets lost and needs to be written down, read, and retold. Draw pictures, take pictures, keep those memories alive. Grandchildren love to listen to stories. Sometimes while berry picking, the stories are about berries, for pemmican, or jams, for drying. While hunting, the stories are embellished and comical, truthful and grateful. Whenever we are gathered in small groups or large gatherings, the stories will be told and retold with grateful hearts. And we'll end there for today. Thank you for stopping by for tea and listening to the old story. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. And the reading will continue tomorrow of This Canoe is Heavy. And remember to leave a comment. Maybe you have a story too. Like and subscribe to keep this channel going. And once in a while I'll read your comments and your stories on one of my videos. Until the next reading, as always, Be kind to nature and go into the forest as often as you can.